Native viewers, Lance Culver Hartley here. Cub Scout dropout, T64 destroyer, Lord of Down Commission expert and guide, bringing you a bit of an explanation of how I use the target command to help me understand the dangers faced by my units, and also just understand how dangerous they will be to the enemy. And what you see in front of you is the scenario from the Soviet Training Tactical Doctrine scenario, MRB meeting engagement. And you can see the map in front of you is simply huge. And with the scenario promising the Americans have no tanks but lots of ATGMs, then we've got to really work out how the line of fires and the line of sight might work. And there's three ways which I use to test, line of sight. And obviously the first way is just to select the unit and get the target command up, and then just look for key terrain by scoping out the green target icon on farms, forest edges, hills, wet fields. Really just trying to work out what can see what, especially looking from the Soviet end. The bridge is an important crossing point, controlled by the trees on the left and the farm on the right, overlooked by the woods on the right hand side, as well as woods on the right hand side. This line of sight is being traced from the artillery observer. The other way in which we would test line of sight is we get back to the village. Some fellas here that need to get out of their scout cars. Don't think I'm in the mood to run them forward and see what they can see by dying. And if we plot a movement action for them and then highlight this destination spot or a waypoint, we can then trace the target command from there, and you can see that it's being line of sight is being traced from the highlighted spot, the range of 8 meters, 9 meters, 1 meter, and so on. And we can then use that as the reference point for our units to look for what's useful, what could shoot them if they move there, where they could be seen from. And in this particular case, this level 2 of that building has got line of sight to quite a good right across the battlefield. Might be limited when it comes to this farm on the right of the bridge. The bridge can be seen, no spots around that covered area next to the bridge. Limited line of sight on the left side of the creek, the Boris objective, and we've got line of sight to the tree line and the Leonard objective. Similarly, we could actually use our units to see what the enemy can see, and say, well, let's pick up a tank, one of the Soviet Army tank. So if we wanted to test what the Americans could see from so part of this Leonard objective, and say they had a ATGM hidden in the trees, or we could again plot our movement to that suspected location. We can just check that the line of fire is reading from the highlighted spot. It's a range of 4 meters, so it's not reading from the tank location. And if we turn the battlefield around, see what the enemy can see, then we can see from here it's got a very wide line of fire right across the battlefield. This location for an American unit is going to be very, very dangerous. and we'll be driving into their line of fire. When we manage them, when we move across the battlefield, though we can work out there's no line of sight. Some parts of the creek, part of the Russian right, but sadly the tank optics, if the Americans' optics are as good as our T80, then we're going to get hammered in a lot of these places. And as it's T80, we might be faced with tows and dragons from the American side, so it's important that we don't give ourselves any opportunities to get free shots by the Americans on us. So that's a couple of ways which we could check line of sight. There's nothing like getting down and walking the terrain. One thing that people might be keen to try out is the covered arc tool, which doesn't really identify anything other than the graphical description of where the unit will be focused on firing. You can see it's saying it'll just fire all through these trees and so on. The uncoloured areas here don't mean anything other than a rise in the terrain or a fall off in the terrain, which might be useful, but it's in no way definite that that's a break in the line of sight. And we can test some of that by putting down the target marker, and we can see that there's a line of sight through there with a defile on the other side. So that's a couple of ways in which it's useful, I think, to plot the moves, plot your decisions, plot your strategy. And in this scenario, the breakthrough objective location is between the two hills, Leonard and Boris, and crossfire from both of those locations will create a valley of death in front of us, so we'll need to work out a strategy to deal with those. And these homesteads or farm complexes could also harbour some American forces as well. So in thinking about the strategy and the line of fire and where we want to approach, you may prefer to move some of these target reference points to different parts of the map and get a sense of given the line of sights we've just been talking about, give a sense of incorporating the line of sight into the strategy and the strategy into the line of sights. So that's a bit of a ramble from me, but pretty important to get ground's eye view of the terrain and what you'll be faced with once you're across the start line, and think about how everything's going to piece together. So I'll leave that with you, and hope you look out for the scenario covering this, or the video covering this scenario, Motor Rifle Brigade attack in the media engagement, and we'll see you in the next one. Like, comment and subscribe.